All right. What is up, everybody? So, I'm going to be looking at my matches today from the competition over the weekend. Oh, damn. All my YouTube videos just played at the same time. So, I have to be careful of that. So, I did a competition over the weekend. I was doing Grappling Industries 170-pound intermediate bracket, and I felt my performance was pretty good, and I wanted to watch that and kind of go over some of the things that I feel like went really well as some of the things that didn't go so well. As we'll also look at one of the matches that I lost to the guy. I did two matches against the same guy. The same guy won first place. He beat everybody in the same fashion, which you'll see here in a minute. But hopefully, by looking at this, I'm going to do this anyway because I like to analyze what was working, what's not working, what do I need to scrap, what do I need to keep working on. And by just doing that live here, I feel like maybe somebody will watch and find it to be helpful. So let's just kind of dive right into it. So I'm going to share my screen here. These are private listed YouTube videos. And let's watch the first match. So this is match number one of the day. Going in. It's funny because in the morning I winded up doing a weight cut in the morning. It was like 4 in the morning. I weighed 175 pounds, and I sweat in a hot shower. Like I just put the steam on, started like doing jumping jacks in my shower. I was getting picked up at 5 in the morning, and I lost a pound and a half. And then on the way there, it was about a 3 hour drive. I had a bottle and I was spitting in the bottle, and I winded up weighing in at 170.3. Yeah, super close call. I was going into this feeling very excited. I didn't really get a lot of sleep the night before because I was just so excited to get out here and start competing again. So I was very amped. Of course, right before you get your name called, but before you're about to go on, the nerves start hitting you, the anxiety starts hitting you. So let's kind of jump into what this looked like. So immediately I pulled guard, and then we kind of like turned it up a bit. So I pulled guard right away, and then this is where the match starts. So we're gonna watch it together, and then we'll look at some of the benefits things. So he steps inside, going at me right away. I'm looking to frame here using my elbow on his shoulders, and I kind of go into this like half shield guard. Now he's doing a good job kind of keeping his right arm there inside, and that winded up leading me to get more crushed. I should have went for that and paid attention to that more. I kind of went for a low percentage triangle there, and that wasn't too good. So he winds up kind of getting past my guard here. I try to retain, but he's doing a good job actually being like a little floaty. And I was just doing a poor job keeping my knees in. He came at me guns blazing, and I was ready to like kind of like keep it chill at first. And I was like, oh, no, he ain't keeping it chill. So he was pinning me here. I didn't really feel like I was in any danger. I felt very comfortable here. I'm very confident in my pin escapes, and he didn't really give good offensive. So I had a feeling I was getting out. My coach was guiding me through, and I was slowly making my way back here into a full close guard. This is where I started to turn it up a bit. I was like, all right, we got to put a little bit more energy into this. Got to trust the conditioning a little bit. I started playing kind of like this rubber guard to high guard. My idea was I wanted to really try to keep a high guard to keep his posture down, and I wanted to eventually start controlling his arms and look for triangles here. To be quite honest, I think that really wasn't that much of an effective move. I think I could have just kept it lower and just kept his head down, but I really wanted to try to snatch this triangle. So I was kind of trying to play these two games of playing with my legs and then playing with his own arms and hoping that he wouldn't notice the transfer. But he ended up pulling his arm back, and he looks to now go into a stack pass. This is where I use something that I've gotten from Marcelo Garcia, where I use a post on the hip. I actually recently learned that I can also post on his shoulder as well. But here I started to hip into him and get under him, and this is where the confidence was up. I used this dope sweep where I brought my leg over almost in kind of almost like a reaping type of position, and I went here for the belly down ankle lock. So I was pretty amped there because it was the first match. Nothing but respect to the other guy. We're all out here. So I kind of want to look at what got my guard past here. I think I got a little too overwhelmed here. I think I should have created more space while he was doing all these moves. I should have looked to start like kind of hip escaping out. And this is what I went over with with my coaches after the tournament was up, was kind of how to get rid of that more. I should have started to create more space and hip escape out. I was kind of trying to like attack the legs, but I didn't have any inside position, so that wasn't really going to work out. So that's how he got past me. Now I kept my back flat. He was going for like a Kimura. Like I said, I feel very comfortable in pins, and he didn't seem too threatening, so I was okay. I had a feeling I was going to get out. And then I ended up kind of going into this closed guard. Now, when we're looking here, I don't really know in hindsight why I was bringing my legs up. I was kind of trying to have him think like I'm going to do something. And then I wanted to go and snatch in the triangle. That was my thinking at this match here. I was trying to have him think like I was looking also for like, well, here's what I was thinking, right? If he pulled himself low and I can isolate an arm, I'll look for a triangle. But I was also kind of trying to go like omoplata or like gogoplata type if I was able to get my leg around him. And that's when I started going for this triangle here. But he kept his shoulder shrugged. He pulled his arm back. And right here, this is what really saved me here was this post. When I had that post, I was like, yo, I can get out of this. I can keep him away and re-guard. And he ended up kind of stepping over, and I brought my left knee right kind of inside for like this like K-guard style of hook, but where the foot was on the opposite side. I used that to kind of kick him. And then kind of when I got under him here, I was able to keep my legs kind of by his torso. So I was kind of like kicking him up. And then because I had an Achilles now on his left leg, I used my right arm on his, I had his right leg. I used my right arm on his left leg in order to kind of bring him up. So now I was completely underneath him. And then I went over to his hip here. I was kind of looking for like a reaping position because I definitely like to use that position very nicely. And because I controlled the second leg, he just fell right over. And I kept a good grip onto his leg. And what I was doing here is when I had this leg over, I was actively kind of back heeling. You can see I naturally am hiding my heel and I'm back heeling into his hip. So that way he wasn't able to kind of come up. So from here, I started working my hands higher up on the ankle. He was trying to grab my hands, but I pushed him away. He tried to kind of go belly down and extend, but that ankle lock is really, really good. What I did was I really focused on, when I got the finish, I really wanted to focus on bringing, you could see my grip is kind of just holding on to the Achilles, but I was pulling, you could see how I shifted to pull the hands up higher. So that way I got closer towards the foot so it can be at a higher percentage of breaking and making the guy tap. So I ended up going down and I immediately just bridged my hips into that. And I got the finish, thankfully. So I was hyped after that. I felt really, really good because it was only like 2 minutes. So I was feeling nice and confident. Then we go into this match. It's the first match that I lost. This was like a D1 wrestler. He was also a blue belt. He was really, really good. I had some close submission attacks, but he winded up just getting past my leg and his pressure was just way too good. And he winded up getting me into the north-south. So let's kind of check it out. So the video started right after he passed me. He kind of came in guns blazing. He tried to get past. Something I really need to definitely pay more attention to. And I was trying to keep my frames and trying to keep my elbow to knee connection. And I winded up circling back into guard retention here. And I started to bring my right arm in that case. I was trying to bring it over to get into an arm saddle position. So he's kind of doing this over-under style of passing where I then bring that leg over. And at this time, you can't see, but I have a fully locked Kimura right now on his arm. And I'm going into this arm saddle here. And here, I'm trying to break that grip. He is just driving his head into my hips more than I've ever felt in my life. And I just could not go anywhere with my hips. And I almost freed his hand right here to try to like either go for a sweep or do a spin under. But I wanted that. I wanted to keep that arm. I tried to use a different form of grip to keep the Kimura grip, but push his leg away. But I didn't want to lose the Kimura grip, so I wound up going back, and I was really trying to come over. Right here, I had him locked in a triangle for like a second, but he wound up just shrugging me off, and I was like so close to catching that triangle, I felt like. So at this point, again, he tries to go into some passing styles where I then go into that Kimura grip, but I missed the grip and he ended up, I think, getting past me here. Tried to use my frames and yeah, we were kind of just holding here. He was kind of slowly cooking me, slowly working past that leg. In hindsight, I should have started to bridge and hip escape more to create a little bit more space. I tried to turn into him. I should have hip escaped a little bit more in hindsight to kind of bring my hips out. I still had that Kimura grip. That's what the thing. I was really trying to go into that Kimura grip, and I was trying to do a spin under because I really wanted his back, but he was really good at keeping his weight super low. So it was hard to get to. Again, he's just like holding me there, holding me. And then he ended up breaking the grip and he hit that. And this was like dunzo. Like he was so heavy. Grapevine felt so controlled. I tried to battle his hooks. You'll start seeing here in a bit in order to try to pin escape out. It was tough. Those are very, very tough. He's working for an arm triangle right now. You can see I'm trying to at least use my right foot there to like break that grapevine and try to get it over. So yeah, so I start going here into like a quarter guard situation. And I'm trying to bridge and pinch my knees so I can turn his foot over to the other side in order to eventually get my right foot in. So I create a little bit of space there, but it was, you know, a lot of pressure there. I was still worried about the arm triangle happening. You know, I kind of fed him off for a little bit. You know, in hindsight, I think so. He ended up switching to this position here, and he started going for a north-south choke. And I'm usually pretty good at escaping and turning out, but man, he must have drilled this sequence so many times because everything was in the right place, and his shoulders just drove right in. It was such a smooth, like blood choke. He really did drill this position a lot. And he actually finished like everybody. He finished everybody in my bracket with that same choke. So, hey, man, good ups to him. It was a good match. Here was my favorite match of the day, in my opinion. We really like went after it, and I did a lot of cool things. So right here, I'm going in because I really wanted to win this match. I did not want to lose to this guy. So I went reverse Del Hiva, and I started to go for a scoop grip where I went to spin under in order to look for a Akani Basami. But he ended up sitting his weight back. I tried to go into like a backside 50-50, but he was controlling my foot there. I ended up threatening the legs, re-guarding, and then I brought that leg over. I'm now looking for more of a triangle arm saddle situation. You can see I'm looking to grab that Kimura, and I start sliding. Look at that. I slide my foot to his hip. I isolate his arm, and I try to kind of spin around him, but he aggressively spins back into me, and I look right back into the triangle arm saddle situation. My bottom leg is still kind of underneath them, so I'm looking to take his back here. I'm also threatening the triangle at the same time. He sprawls his hips down. So at this time, we were cool. We were chilling because if he sat up, I was going to fly him into the triangle because I had his arm fully isolated there. And my bottom leg was right past his arm. Like he was basically in a triangle if he didn't sprawl. But at this situation, my coach started to say that you could slowly start to creep up and take his back. So that's kind of what I started to do. I used my other hand to post up and to bring myself up, and I kept a good grip on his armpit. And I kept myself floaty on him. I ended up grabbing a gift wrap position, and then I got under his neck, which I'm really good at, and I ended up locking a figure 4 here. So I kind of got lazy with the back positioning here, but I knew I had that. I knew I was going to finish him from the back. If I get someone's back, I'm going to submit them with that. If I can get under their neck for even a second. So let's look back at that again. I thought a lot of awesome things happened during this match. So immediately start the grip fighting exchange. He's looking to be a little bit aggressive and elevate me and then step inside. I went right into the scoop grip to try to sweep into his saddle, but he was controlling that leg. I tried to bring my, in this case, right foot over to a backside 50-50, but he was moving his hips in the right way. I ended up using that against him, and that's where I was then able to go into more of a triangle arm saddle situation. Because he was so adamant about defending the legs, he really had to keep his legs back and his upper body low. So I was able to just get into the attack. You know, this is something that we really work on in my training. So again, we go into this. It's that same battle of going between the lower body and upper body and trying to stay on him. At this point, again, Now he's in a dilemma. If he gets up, he saves his back, but I'm triangling him. If he stays low, well, he's going to get his back taken. So this is what you got to do. You got to make sure that you always are trying to put the person in the situation where nothing's going to happen. Like they ain't winning. Like it really sucks for them. So here I have these two very powerful offensive situations. It looks like he's committed to saving himself from the triangle. So I wind up floating up to the back, kept my hips nice and heavy on him so he couldn't turn. And immediately I started using what's called a face fuck, where I take the bony part of my wrist into his mouth and I lift it and I winded up catching underneath. It's kind of a cheesy move, but it works. So I'm going to do it. Nope, I wind up getting under him. Now I turned it up more than ever. This was the finals. When I found out I was in the finals against this guy, I was like, holy shit, I could actually win first place here. Because I had full faith that while this guy was really good and he was murking everybody, I could beat him. I was the guy to beat him. So I went in there feeling confident. So this is where conditioning and grip strength really played an important role. Because in my first match with this guy, I held that Kimura for 2 minutes. And after that match was done, my arms were completely jelly. Now, I was able to hold on for 2 minutes, and I could have made something work with that in hindsight. But that's what overall winded up saving me not getting past in the first situation. Could I have gone for something else? Yeah, maybe. But being able to hold on for 2 minutes and staying conditioned enough to go through these 4 matches with these tough guys really, really intensely, so I'm going to say is like really important about strength and conditioning work. So if you ever do want to have any plans or nutrition guidance, you can message me on Instagram at Jason Rosati, and we can talk about that. I am a strength and conditioning coach and nutrition specialist. I work with athletes. So this was a good day because I really got to show my conditioning off. So I went hard against this guy. We started revving it up. I'm looking for grip fighting. He's trying to kind of back out a little bit. I'm really going after him because I wanted him. I started looking for that Kimura arm set. I started looking for like a 10-figure grip on here. He's staying really low. What I should have done in hindsight is look to scoot out and go for front headlocks. That's something that we're working on currently. So I tried to go into grip fighting, try to bring that leg over. He does a good job keeping that bottom leg pinned. Again, looking for that same thing. He's looking for the same thing too. We both had a game plan going in here. And I think that really shows as to why him and I were in the finals versus the other people, because we really, it looked to me that we were both drilling a certain sequence. And, that's what we were working. So here I started to kind of look for the regard, look for the Kimura. Again, maybe should have started the hip escape more. I pushed his head. This was the result of I should have started doing that more. This is actually something that I learned after these matches when I looked over with my coach, how effective it could be to push his head more. I should have kept that right foot over that time and still continued to threaten this triangle and arm saddle. But I ended up going down in an effort to wanted to do something. Let me look back on it real quick. So I remember I was trying to bridge and I was trying to hip out. So again, he starts getting past me. I started looking for my left foot to kind of hook and then use that elevated space to get my other hook inside. That would have been great. I would have loved that. If I could have elevated him with a butterfly hook, I could have started grabbing onto shoulder crunches. And that's exactly what I was trying to do here. But he was just really, really heavy. He was really keeping his base on me. It was hard to do. He started going for like an Americana here, but I strained it out. He started using that to his advantage to threaten to get into mount because I had to defend it. He starts again looking for the arm triangle, grapevining. I'm looking for to bridge. Wind up getting out. Nice little scramble here. Boom. I tried to go into an arm bar right there. At that point right there during that scramble, I should have gotten up and I should have attempted to get on top or snatch his neck. So I started thinking more about his neck and like, you know what? I got to start going for his neck more. So that's what we do here. We start grip fighting a little bit. He's really staying low. I ended up coming into this front headlock. Here I got amped. I was like, I'm taking this dude's back. Now here I made a very crucial mistake. I failed to control his far arm and I failed to keep my other leg back because we were so close to this like TV over here. I wanted to bring my leg back in order to post and then look to take the back from there, but I was too close to him. He winds up shooting for a takedown here right as I pull guard, which is fine. I look for the front headlock again, but he traps my leg and he goes into like a single leg situation. Here, I should have started to look to push his head to the other side or look for arm drag grips. That would have definitely been super helpful, but I kept trying to just keep my frames in and work that. Trying to, again, try to use that little foot sweep to get out of side control. Should have started to hip escape more into him. His elbow was really, really heavy against my hips here when he switched to the north-south. This is where he got the finish. So I kept trying to turn it. I kept trying to bridge and turn. His head was so low and pinned into my hips, though. And then I started to feel my neck go, it started to crack a little bit. And I was like, nah, I don't want to get broken. I don't want to like hurt my neck. I've always had a sore neck, but yeah, it was good. Hurt a little bit. The neck definitely hurt a little bit. So let's go back through that again, some of the highlights. So again, he starts coming in. Looking to regard here. So this is where I made crucial mistake number one. Should have kept that. See, should have kept that right leg. Oh, so I started pushing his head. That's where I got this. This was deep. If I kept that there, I should have looked to thread. I should have grabbed my own ankle and threaded the foot through to that hip. I could have gotten to his back there. But instead, I looked to push onto the floor to bridge and create space, but that didn't work. That could have definitely been a game changer there for sure. We go through this little scramble here. So I'm looking to kind of elevate him to try to sneak my hook in. I use that extra space to turn the other way. You're going to see it here in a sec. So we start, was it right here? Yeah, in just a sec. He starts going for this. I try to fight his legs. I bridge, I try to turn out, and I get right here. I had his arm, and I brought that foot over into like this, like, I don't know what to call it, like a reverse arm bar type situation. Because if I had this foot over his torso, it would have been obviously tight, but I got that over into kind of like a side, it was kind of like a side triangle. But I should have like kind of hamstring curled his head a little bit more. It was also wasn't really tight. Maybe I could have locked in with my right foot here and kind of really secured the position. Unfortunately, he wound up getting out. So I pushed him. At that point, I maybe should have like kind of came up a little bit and been a little bit more aggressive, but he ended up backing out, unfortunately. It's always nice when they engage. If they, I do my best like submissions in training is always like escaping. They try to continue to engage and then I catch them in something. So here was nice. I sat up into front headlock and did what's called a knee block go behind in order to get behind him. And I should have grabbed a Kimura grip and I should have posted my left foot farther out to keep my base because he ended up just sitting in. And then, yeah, here we get restarted. He shot him for a takedown, tried to go for front headlock situation. He was just doing the single leg. And that's pretty much it until I get finished, unfortunately. Overall, great experience. Fucking dope time. Competing is a lot of fun. And I definitely recommend that everybody does it. So, yeah, the strength and conditioning definitely helped a lot. It was definitely a tough bracket. I'm still a white belt, so if I could, like, I'm going to take that as a big W for me. I definitely want to do more. Looking forward to doing more, and hope you guys really started to see some of the things that were going well, where we are attacking the upper body and lower body, as well as kind of learning our mistakes and looking to do other things as well during certain situations. So, I mean, that's how you learn the best. You take your ideas, you take your techniques, you train the body, you go to competition, and that's how you learn. That's how you grow. And you also make some friends too. It was a lot of awesome people there. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next episode. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, because that all helps the channel grow and helps me get my name